Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. Man-Child Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. We are presented by Northeast Roofing Professionals. Today's video brought to you by our friends at Bayberry Automotive. Integrity in everything. We'll hear from Bayberry in just a little bit. Good morning, Boy Green. The skies are, or I should say the area around us. I want to say the skies are blue because it's kind of above me, all right? But the skies are blue. That means we're talking Giants today. We are inside the Giants. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm doing all right. You know what? I've come to like you people, Giant fans, you know.
We get into these rounds, because when I'm in that green palette that we
I
put
feel
when
better.
the Jets are up there and I'm seeing all those Jet old school helmets flipping, I'm a little, I get a little antsy sometimes too. So, don't get too antsy because we're bringing in a guy that goes really strong here with the Giants' deep roots. I love it. He's from the Giants Collective. All right. He has his own YouTube channel called Entertainah Talk Sports. Let's welcome in. We're all nicknames today. Man-Child, Boy Green, Entertainah. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Good morning. Excited to be on with you guys. Always whenever anybody reaches out to me, wants to talk Giants football, I always jump at the opportunity. So excited to be on here with you guys today.
All right. So let's get into that right off the top, Entertainah. Do you hate the Jets? Is there like a hate thing between us? Should we hate each other?
Me neither.
No, my sister's actually a diehard Jet fan. I have several friends that are Jet fans, and I never understood the dynamic of people that are at least Giants fans that hate Jet fans. I don't think there's a legitimate second favorite team of mine. I'm a Giant fan through and through. That's all I care about. But if the Giants are out of it and the Jets have an opportunity to be successful, I don't root against them. I root for them. And from the Jets perspective, my friends have had the opposite approach. I remember and I couldn't understand it at all, but I remember in the Super Bowl, I had friends that were Jet fans that rooted for the Patriots because they didn't want to live with, I guess, New Yorkers, being in the same town, bragging about winning a Super Bowl against the Patriots. So I never understood that, but I don't hate the Jets. I wouldn't go as far to say as I root for the Jets, but I definitely don't root against them.
Oh, that's un-American. I was the biggest Giants fan in the world. My mother's a Patriots fan. I was rooting for her to go to hell during that Super Bowl. I was David Tyree, Eli Manning, Mario Manningham. Sign me the hell up. No, that's disgusting. Whoever those Jet fans are, give them to me off air, and we're gonna go find these people. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of feel the same way, Entertainah, and I'll offer this thought up as to the why behind that, since we're in this discussion at the moment, right? I think the why is, and I think it's an unfortunate thing, and I don't really like it, but a lot of times when the team that wins more or has more rings, okay, and it's the other team that's looking at them, I don't want to hear about those guys bragging. Like, I have a lot of people come on our show, a lot of times in our comments, we're talking Giants, that say, like, you ugly Giant fans, say, hey, don't put me in with those people. I know there are some Giant fans that are obnoxious, but I'll tell you something else. There are Jet fans that are obnoxious. There are Patriot fans that are obnoxious. There are Red Sox fans that are obnoxious. There are Yankee fans that are obnoxious. Lots of Yankee fans that are. We'll get into the Mets-Yankees thing in a little bit. All right, that's enemies, okay? But not in, in the New York football thing. I agree with you. I don't mind the Jets at all. I root for them kind of as a sidebar. I want to see them succeed. I mean, I know it's easier when a team is losing all the time and just kind of go like, oh, let me have a little empathy over there for this team. I mean, maybe that's part of the whole thing. But I think that's a piece of it is the team that isn't as successful looks down upon the team that is. We get mad at it. And the Mets-Yankees is the perfect example. I hate the Yankees, okay? And I'm a Mets.
too. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say, because we were talking about how we were the rare dynamic of Giants-Mets fans before we went live. And that's why I could understand it, even though I disagree with it because it's not the same context of Mets Yankees, but I could understand it more so from the Jets perspective because I'm a Mets fan and I grew up hating the New York Yankees. But when you put it in context, first off, the Mets and Yankees play each other every year. The Yankees are the most successful franchise in all of sports. I always say to my friends all the time, there is not a harder team to root for, at least in my opinion, in all four major sports than the New York Mets. Because not only do we have a heartbreaking history for the most part, at least since I've been watching the team, you share a city with the most successful team in all of North American sports. So I think it's not fair to compare the two, which is why I don't necessarily understand from the Jet fan perspective, but I could at least put myself in their shoes being a Met fan when it comes to the Yankees.
And I would like to congratulate you. Not only are you a Giants fan, not only are you a Mets fan, you're also a Knicks fan. So we had this very nice common ground. I mean, I'm really already feeling very warm and fuzzy about this interview. You're welcome back anytime, my friend. I mean, you have those three things going for you. There can't be anything wrong with you. I mean, we should be best friends.
Well,
on the Jersey Shore together or something.
You said you're a Syracuse fan. I'm a big-time St. John's fan. So we butt heads there a little bit.
But listen, no, we're not going to butt heads there. Because when I was in New York, as we were talking before the video, I grew up in New York City, actually in Queens. I have my ex-wife's whole family and her all went to St. John's. I attended St. John's games regularly, and I was a St. John's fan. I don't think I would be a Syracuse basketball fan if I didn't end up attending the university, coming to Syracuse to go to school, experiencing a Final Four while I was in school, John Wallace and company running all the way. 1996. That's when I was at Syracuse, and then covering the team, as they contended at times and certainly made runs in the NCAA tournament under Jim Boeheim. So I think all of that stuff kind of in the blender. But I have to tell you, and I think Paul would agree with this, because we talk a lot of St. John's on the show. And there's a couple of reasons for it. Number one, because it goes back to my roots. And number two, because I am, despite all his transgressions off the court, a Rick Pitino fan. I think he is a marvelous basketball mind, and he is the reason why I became a Knicks season ticket holder all those years ago. That final year of Pitino was when I put my money down and said, all right, I'm going to go to 80 games a year. I'm going to go 40 games a year, 41 games a year, the home games, right, plus the playoffs. And then, luckily, I still had those season tickets. Pat Riley took over, and I just decided, hey, let me keep him for another 5, 6, 7 years. And I ended up having him, I think, for 7 seasons, a season ticket holder for the New York Knicks. But it was Pitino that got me there. So I am just very, very intrigued by Rick Pitino, and obviously what he's done down there with St. John's has been miraculous, to say the least.
Oh, he's flipped that program around. Since the Jarvis days, they've been in hell since they had that whole scandal, and it's good to see that Pitino came in and got the program back on the right track. And I did see that they just renewed, I guess, if you want to call it a rivalry, the rivalry between St. John's and Syracuse. They just signed on. I think it's every year they're going to be going back and forth.
MSG, right? This year?
Yeah.
I think I saw from John Rothstein. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. And we just added a player from Syracuse last year. I forgot his name, but out of the yeah,
Donnie Freeman.
And Donnie Freeman, who was the best player on Syracuse last year. I know, you St. John's guys have gotten so rich, you don't even realize, you just got the best player off the Syracuse roster. Yeah, we got
some guy.
Some guy. You poach the best guy, okay? You poach the best guy. He's going to be interesting. Keep your eye on him this year. He's a terrific player. But his problem under Adrian Autry, now Syracuse, as you know, has changed head coaches. Now Jerry McNamara, the legendary point guard, has taken over. Under Adrian Autry, I felt like he underperformed. And one of the issues with him was kind of his hustle factor. So Pitino, as you know, doesn't let anybody get on the floor unless they're hustling. So he's either going to turn Freeman into a beast, and you're going to know his name very well at the end of this season, or Donnie Freeman's going to be out of there in 6 months because Rick Pitino is just going to run him into the ground and run him right the heck out of there. So it's going to be interesting to see that tug of war between player and coach because, as you know, Pitino still has that disciplinarian tendencies that he doesn't put up with any BS. It's kind of what I love about the guy, in all honesty, man. He builds basketball programs and basketball players, and I love him for it.
Old school. I love everything about him. The only question with him is how long is he going to be able to be here? They did sign him to an extension, but he's up there in age. So maybe we get another 3 or 4 years out of him if we're lucky.
Well, here's another thing I can find that's a commonality, I can only assume, between Manchild and the Entertainah. It is your mutual hatred for the Dallas Cowboys. And week 1, Sunday Night Football at home for the 30 millionth year in the row. We're getting this game in prime time at home, the home opener here for the Giants. Entertainah, I need to hear it from you. How do you feel about the Giants Cowboys? Because I heard Brian Burns, even though I don't even think he was on the team for that one, the 40-0 bloodbath. He's like, oh, okay, we've got you on the mind, Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a Giants fan, I slightly hate the Eagles more, but it's neck and neck. It's very close. I despise the Dallas Cowboys. We actually had a show on Giants Collective like a week ago where we were talking about the game that the team that we wanted to have week 1 on the New York Giants schedule before. Well, the whole schedule hasn't been released. I think that happens tomorrow, but the week 1 was released. I said the Dallas Cowboys at home. And a lot of Giants fans don't like that idea because we seem to play them every other year, week 1. And obviously, at least in more immediate history, since the Eli Manning era, the Giants have been getting clobbered But I think we've beaten Dak Prescott once, and that was Eli Manning's Dak Prescott's rookie year, rather, when he went up against Eli Manning when the Giants won 11-5. I think it's a game we could win, and I think it's a game where if the Giants do win, it sets the tone for the entire season. And John Harbaugh comes in, he says, this is a new era. We're no longer the doormats of the NFC, so I think it's a great opportunity for the New York Giants. Now, the thing that I worry about the most in that game, Giants' biggest weakness going into the year, at least in my opinion, is the secondary. That's what I worry about the most. And you could argue that Dallas's biggest strength is their wide receiver group. So, their biggest strength is our biggest weakness. So that's something that you got to be worried about going into week 1. But I think the Giants will be able to stick with them, and I think it'll be a very competitive game.
All right. Let's talk about another recent bubbling story. It's an interesting one. I'm very curious to see where you stand on this, Entertainah, because I know where I stand, although, there are elements of it where I'm softening a little bit. But OBJ and the Giants, and whether there's a fit there, this whole relationship, texting, and I don't know, maybe they post on each other's Instagrams, Harbaugh and OBJ, in regular contact, as Harbaugh describes it. Give me your thoughts about whether this is going to come together at all, or is this whole thing just kind of been a smokescreen pipe dream, just being nice to each other kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like the Giants fan base is somewhat divided on the whole OBJ thing since I've been on YouTube since 2018, whenever I started. I was never an OBJ guy. I don't want to go as far to say I hate the guy, but I wasn't upset when the New York Giants traded him. So I understand it, though, from the younger generation, because I grew up idolizing Tiki Barber, Eli Manning. Those were my guys early on. So I understand that he's their hero. But in my perspective, I'm going to be fine with it either way. At the end of the day, he had a relationship with Harbaugh. If Harbaugh feels he could bring him in here and he could help the football team, the locker room, great. Give him the league minimum deal, and if he sticks in camp, great. Do I think he'd make a major impact for this team? No. And I don't know how much of an impact he would have on the locker room. But again, maybe he's grown up since his days with the New York Giants. So I'm not going to be upset one way or the other with OBJ. I'm not going to be excited if they bring him in, and I'm not going to be devastated if they don't.
So is there any influence, the Entertainah, you're in many places, including the Giants Collective podcast, and you got Bad Dog over there, one of your co-hosts, who's barking all the time about OBJ, baby, I've called it, I've said it since he left, he's coming back, and it's going to be the greatest of all time. And when you have that kind of noise on the show every week, just a few boxes over in the Quattro box happening there, how does that not possibly affect you, either bringing you on or pushing you away? You're like, golly, this guy's always talking about OBJ. You know what? No, I don't want OBJ. So the fact that you're in the middle, it's impressive that you've been able to deflect all the powers both ways of positivity and negativity about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of the younger fan base is going to side with Bad Dog's opinion, and I'm never scared to share my opinion, whether it's popular or whether it's not. I was a guy that stuck with Gettleman a lot longer than a lot of people did, even though it was very unpopular. After year 3, I wanted to give him what I felt was a fair opportunity. Obviously, when all was said and done, I think he got his opportunity, and I was glad when the New York Giants moved on from him. And I know, at least from the younger fan base, a lot of people that may watch this on YouTube, they're going to say, no, you have to bring OBJ back. I'm not against it. Like I said, I'm a believer in Harbaugh. If Harbaugh believes that OBJ could add something to this football team, add something to the locker room, I'm all for it. But for all the reasons I stated, listen, the guy's 34 years old. He's not the same player he once was. He hasn't been able to stay on the football field. I think he's played, 9-10 games over the last 3 years. I don't think he would have that much of an impact on the field. And I think even if the Giants did bring him in, which I still think is possible for a camp invite, I don't think it's a sure thing that he even makes the team.
Let's talk a little about what you just said about Harbaugh. And I think a lot of us Giant fans are falling in line with this. And I wonder what you think, kind of the moxie, the mental makeup of this. But the motto is, in Harbaugh we trust. Yeah. There is an extremely powerful trust right now between this new coach and the fan base. And I'm in it. You're in it. I mean, we're in it. Why do you think that is? Let's talk about why we have this strong bond together right now. We're just like, whatever that guy says, I'm down. Yep. He thinks that guy stinks. Cut him. He loves that guy. Bring him on the roster. You want OBJ? All right. If Harbaugh says yes, I'll do it. That's the way we are right now. We're crazy robots. What the heck's going on with Giant fans?
I've always been a massive Harbaugh fan. You could go back and look during the when we hired Joe Judge. I was a big proponent of trying to bring his brother in here. I've always been a big Harbaugh guy. He's just a guy that has the credentials, right? And I said during this coaching search time and time again, what I wanted the New York Giants to do, we needed our Tom Thibodeau. Now, I think John Harbaugh is a little bit more of a coach that has a little bit more of a pedigree than a Thibodeau, as good as Thibodeau was before he came to the New York Knicks. But he was a guy that was a program builder for the Knicks. He was the guy that got the Knicks back on track. I believe Harbaugh is going to do the same thing for the New York Giants. The guy had 18 years, one of the longest tenured coaches in the history of the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. I think he only had 2 losing seasons. The guy knows how to build a football team. So I'm going to put my trust in him. At the end of the day, he knows a lot more than I do. He knows a lot more than any of us do. And I think he's a guy that brings hope. You look at the prior coaches since Tom Coughlin, who was similar to a guy like a John Harbaugh, where he had previous success at another stop as a head coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars, brought him to, I believe, multiple AFC title games. Similar thing here with Harbaugh, but since then you've brought in Shermer, who had limited exposure as a head coach in the NFL and didn't have much success when he was with the Cleveland Browns. Ben McAdoo, who was an OC, and you could say the same thing. Joe Judge, special teams coordinator, and of course Dable was an OC. So I think he's a guy that brings some experience as a head coach and a guy that you have to trust as a fan. Knows how to build this football team properly. So I think it's an exciting time to be a Giants fan. I think he's going to get us back to where we need to be.
How quickly do you think he's going to get you back to where you need to be?
I'm not going to snap my fingers and expect it to happen year one, but I'm also not going to rule it out entirely. You go back and look at last year with the New England Patriots. Nobody saw that coming. Mike Vrabel comes in there with a young quarterback, flips it. Same thing with the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, young quarterback. You bring in obviously it's a different scenario with the Ben Johnson being that he was an OC, but they flip it real quick. I'm not going to set those expectations this year as a fan. If they reach those heights and they win 10 or 11 games and advance in the playoffs, great. But as long as they show some forward progress, they're competitive within the division, they win 7 or 8 games at a minimum and look good doing it, I think we're headed down the right path.
We're talking Giants football inside the Giants Man-Child Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You'll see the link right there. Also, pop that like button as we talk all things Giants. We are presented today by Northeast Roofing Professionals. Today's video brought to you by our friends at Bayberry Automotive. 30 seconds from Bayberry, and then we're back. I want to talk to you about the Giants draft. Stick around.
Integrity is a word that some people just throw around in life. But at Bayberry Automotive, integrity is everything. Integrity of their mechanics, who are all experienced and certified. Integrity in the work they perform, with nothing but 5-star reviews from satisfied customers on Google. Integrity that goes along with family, a family-run business that treats you like one of their own. Integrity in everything. Bayberry Automotive. BayberryAutomotive.com.
Located on Route 57 across from Bayberry Plaza, the premier choice for auto repair in Liverpool.
Second location on Morgan Road in Liverpool. Go see our friends at Bayberry Automotive. Appointments are aplenty now that they have 2 locations. We're talking with the Entertainah from the Giants Collective and the Entertainer Talking Sports channel on YouTube. I love it. All things Giants. He's a Giants fan. He's a Knicks fan. He's a Mets fan. I'm just in my glory this morning talking to him.
Lurch, wait. Lurch, before we go any further, I just have to say the way that you're pronouncing this esteemed guest nickname is one of my favorite parts of the episode so far. So I just love the delivery there. It's
you
just
like it how I can roll back, like I've been homogenized here, Entertainah in central New York, where I've learned to elongate my vowels. However, if I want to go right back in, it's just start talking like all you New Yorkers and just have it just come out just exactly the way it is. I just start thinking about the times that I go down to Queens or Long Island. I visit my family. I sound exactly like them. I can roll right in there. I'm telling you, when I hear those people now, my family, I'm like, what is wrong with you people? You sound like a bunch of weirdos with that New York thing. But I can roll right back into it. It's like,
there you go.
Like,
very nice.
Right there. So,
just wanted to highlight that. Yeah,
thanks. Let's talk some NFL draft about the Giants and how you felt they did. I mean, obviously 2 picks in the top 10. I mean, that's exciting on draft night to have number 5, number 10, all the possibilities, the trade possibilities. And the Giants end up standing pat. I don't know how the heck they got Arvell Reese, and I am in my glory about it. My little friend here wanted him with the Jets. He got David Bailey. We'll see how that all works out. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch over the next 5 years. And then they go out and they get the offensive lineman. Again, a lot of us were chanting, myself included, get the safety. Take the safety from Ohio State. Go get him. And we didn't go get him, and he ends up with the Cowboys of all teams. So we're going to see him in week 1. But let's just talk about how that played out and how, when you look at it in the end, those 2 picks play for the Giants. And do you think they made the right moves here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's too early to analyze it, because if you would ask me this same question in 2023 or whenever it was when we took Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, I would have been ecstatic then too, and I would have told you those were the right picks. Evan Neal is going to be the bookend tackle for the next 10 years, and we're ready to go between him and Andrew Thomas. Obviously, that didn't work out. Kayvon's been solid, but underwhelming, not worth that 5th overall pick. I don't think even the biggest Kayvon fan would argue that. I probably would have said the same thing in the following draft when we got out of it with Deonte Banks, JMS, and Jalen Hyatt. We thought that those were, at least I thought, those were good value picks on the night of the draft. So it's too early. That being said, it's hard for me not to be excited with the Arvell Reese pick for a lot of the things that you said. Many felt he was the best player in this draft if you exclude the quarterback position. Most felt he was going to the New York Jets. You end up getting a guy, and my favorite thing that John Harbaugh did immediately after that pick when they talked to the media, he didn't skate around it. He said, this guy's going to have a defined position. We're going to play him at the middle linebacker spot. And a lot of people were like, oh, what are you going to do? Now you got 4 edge rushers. He said, no, we're going to play him at the middle linebacker spot. That's where we see him with this football team, at least in the immediate future. And the guy's a physical freak. We all saw what he did at the combine, and I think he's going to add a lot to this defense. So he's the first linebacker we've taken in the first round since Carl Banks, for a team that is predicated historically at the linebacker position. So I love that pick for the New York Giants, and I'm a huge offensive line guy. If anybody watches my channel, they know that I constantly say I love the 300-pound men. So when the New York Giants took Maui Noah, well, I knew the fan base wasn't going to be overly excited for the reasons that you stated. We all wanted Caleb Downs. I think it was the right pick. You have a young quarterback entering year 2. The guard spot was a huge question mark. It's not like he doesn't have tackle versatility. I know that that's more of the premium position in the future. You could shift him out to the tackle, but if he's playing at an all-pro level, you leave him where he is, similar to what the Cowboys did with Zach Martin, who played tackle at the collegiate level. So I love that pick. Dart year 2, trying to learn a new offense. He needs as much help as he possibly can with that offensive line. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Giants do offensively, because I think they're going to have a ground and pound approach.
Entertainah, you said that, for people that watch your channel, they know how you feel about a certain subject. What's that channel again?
Entertainah Talking Sports.
And on YouTube, is that right?
That is right.
Okay, all right, there you go. Just for the people. Add some more people to the army there. The only quick follow-up on the Arvell Reese thing is the Giants, like a lot of these teams now, we're in a new technological age here in 2026, so we're getting inside looks at draft rooms and react. Here's how we felt about the certain pick, this, that, or the other. Content. We're always pumping out content. And Harbaugh was doing the Dougie in the Giants draft room after getting Arvell. He's like, oh my God, can you believe this? We got this guy. Do you like that behind the scenes content? Or some fans I've heard, they're like, I actually don't want to see behind the room. I want that to be the mystery. I don't want to know what's actually there. I just want my imagination to run wild of whatever I think's happening in there, and that perhaps we're getting too much access. Is that a thing?
I do. I think it is a thing. Now, when it comes in short spurts like it does after the draft, I'm completely fine with it. But I did not like as a fan, I liked it, of course, having more access. It's intriguing as a Giants fan, but I didn't like the Hard Knocks thing where you got to see every little intricacy.
Yeah. That was not good.
Sometimes as a fan, you just want to enjoy the hot dog. You don't need to see how the hot dog is made. And after seeing how it made Joe Shane look bad, with some of the clips that they put out there. So I'm not a big fan of the Giants doing something like that in the future. But as far as like the reactions to draft picks and knowing what the team felt about certain players, I'm completely on board with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I've watched both parts, Boy Green. I know exactly what you're talking about. And they've got 2 parts out right now. I don't know if there's a 3rd part coming where they take us both behind the scenes for the combine and behind the scenes for the draft. And there is no question the Giants, and we saw it in the press conference when the 2 guys did it that night, they were beside themselves that Reese was on the board. And they were like, are you kidding me? Like, run it up to the podium. So thank God they did. I was saying the same thing as I was watching the draft. And then when Maui Noah fell, I mean, they were like, you got to be kidding me. 2, twice. The exact guy that we wanted, the guy that was way up there on our board, is going to fall right to us like a beautiful little gift on Christmas morning. I kind of dug that. I kind of like seeing were they struggling with, we love these 2 guys and which way are we going to go? Because then you get to kind of look at that down the road and go, oh man, if you just gone the other way, you would have had this guy instead of this guy. It's the old Micah Parsons thing, what the heck are you doing trading that pick away? Just take Parsons and you could have been set for life, right? Giants didn't see it. And they end up, the Cowboys.
Hey, whoa, man, child. Wait just a second. Kadarius Toney ended up winning a Super Bowl, man. That's still pretty good. That's not bad. Not bad.
Certainly one of Gettleman's darkest moments was that. The guy that never trades, and then he trades out. The position of need is the guy that's sitting on the board. They don't take him. They trade down, get a lousy guy, and give that guy to the Cowboys. And then
we draft Evan Neal with the extra pick that we get.
Yeah. Yeah, that was beautiful. We really parlayed that into something, didn't we?
2022 was that
the
draft.
ultimate parlay for Dave Gettleman. A sea of losers, and we could have just picked one guy and changed our whole franchise, and perhaps had the next Lawrence Taylor roaming around in the linebacker position. We wouldn't even be talking about these other picks that we've made. We'd been building in other places. All right. Okay. So you like the 2 picks. What about what the Giants did the rest of the draft? Did you like the Colton Hood pick? Again, they showed back behind the scenes on that. Looked like they were thrilled. They were waiting for Hood. They sitting there in the second round, high in the second round. You're hoping that guy falls right where you want him. Boom, there he was. It didn't seem like, again, another no-brainer. And then how they did the rest of the way, obviously trading up and getting the big receiver from Notre Dame as well. Do you like what the Giants did overall?
Yeah, I mean, they filled needs. You could certainly argue it's certainly on their board what came out after the fact that Colton Hood was the best player on their board. I read on Twitter a couple of days ago, I forgot which reporter it was. It came out that the Giants were looking to trade down with that pick, and the only player that they would have stayed and made the selection was if Colton Hood fell there. So similar to what you said about their first 2 picks, they were in love with the idea of Hood falling there to 37. Physical corner, clear need. I talked about it at the top of the show. I think that's our biggest need going into the year. So need addressed, physical corner, probably fit. And the other thing is, I'm going to, as much as I'm going to trust Harbaugh, I'm also going to trust our defensive coordinator, who has had tremendous success with secondaries at his previous destination. So love the Hood pick. And I wouldn't consider myself a diehard Notre Dame fan, but that's the team I root for when it comes to college football. So naturally, I'm going to be excited when they trade up and get Fields, who I think fits the persona of this offense. The Giants, I think, want to be a physical, in-your-face offense. Pat Ricard, they bring in the fullback, and he is a tremendous blocker. You go back and look at some of the big runs that Notre Dame had this year. Fields sprung a lot of those runs. So big physical wide receiver. I think he complements Neighbors well on the other side, and hopefully will help tremendously from within inside the red zone, having a nice tall target there. So, yeah, I love what the Giants did throughout the course of this draft. Again, come back to me in 2 or 3 years, and we'll revisit. But my initial taste of this draft, I'm excited with what the Giants did.
Yeah, and here's my last one for you, Entertainah. Based on how you commented, maybe there's not going to be an answer to this question, but I'll provide it anyway. When you do content creation, especially in the pre-draft process for our teams and have these top 10 picks, you do a lot of content on these guys, and you fall in love with guys, and you root for them. I hope the Giants take this guy or this guy or this guy. Was there a guy that was left on the board that you're like, God, I wish we would have gone with him at any point in the draft?
Not left on the board.
Okay.
I went against the grain with a lot of Giants fans, and I would have been very open to the idea of Jeremiah Love had he fallen to 5. For a lot of the reasons what I expressed about Maui Noah, I think a dynamic running back like him, a weapon that could be used in the passing game, would have helped the young Jackson Dart. And it came out that the Giants would have likely drafted him had he fallen to 5. Didn't get there. So I have no regrets there. And I wouldn't have had a regret if we took Reese anyway, if both of them were there. I didn't foresee that happening. But no, I don't think I have, at least at the top of the draft, I don't think I have any regrets with what the New York Giants decided to do with their 2 picks.
Yep. I think all in all, it's a good draft. But like I said, we never know about drafts until we see the players. They look good on paper a lot of times, and then we finally, and then we see them play, and we're like, oh, that wasn't as good as I thought. Oh, wow, that was a lot better than I thought. That was a gift from the gods, dare I say. Hey, one more on the teams, and then I want to go out with a Nick question with you, since we're both Nick fans. Because come on, we're in the throes of this thing. We might as well enjoy it while we can, right? But have the Giants, in your mind, done enough now to plug the hole that Dexter Lawrence left? I mean, obviously they traded him. Got Mauanoa with that number 10 pick. But, and even though he didn't play well last year, he has been a good player overall for the Giants. A couple of years ago, named the number 1 defensive tackle in all of football by the Pro Football Focus people who study this stuff. So give me your thoughts about how less gaping, I guess, is that hole now that Reader's on board and some of these other depth pieces, and they're going to try and kind of, it sounds like, piecemeal it this year and see how it goes.
That's the best way to put it, because you're never going to replace a player like Dexter Lawrence with one player. You're going to have to piecemeal it, as you said, at the interior defensive line. At the end of the day, the Giants did what they had to do. The guy didn't want to be here. The guy was forcing his way out, and they got as much value as you could have possibly hoped for as a New York Giants fan. They had no leverage in the trade negotiations. He made it abundantly clear he wanted out of here. And you ended up getting the 10th overall pick from the Cincinnati Bengals, which was a lot more than I think any of us could have expected. So do I think they've replaced him specifically at that position? No, I don't think you're going to be able to replace him. That doesn't mean that you can't have a better overall defense, though, with the addition of an Arvell Reese, being able to clog up the lines, the line of scrimmage with a guy like Reeder and some of the other defensive tackles they've brought in. So, well, they're not as strong at that position overall. We weren't very good against the run to begin with last year with all the gaping holes we had at the linebacker spot and the defensive line. You go out there, you add a Tremaine Edmonds in free agency, you add an Arvell Reese. I think overall the defense is better than it was last year, but the defensive tackle line position specifically is not as good. And they need a long-term answer there in the future. I expect them to draft one relatively early in next year's draft.
No, I like coaches that keep their promises. And one of the things that I would say, a lot of coaches come in and say, we're going to be more physical. I'm going to get this team to be more physical. John Harbaugh has gone out and found guys that fit that mold. We'll see through the draft, through free agency. He has gone out and found guys that I think are going to make this team a lot more physical. And I think that was one of the things that were really lacking. So that's, again, another reason for optimism for us Giant fans, because the man fulfills his promises. Like, he promised that like day one, and now we're seeing it. We're seeing it tangibly, and we're going to see it tangibly, I think, on the football field this upcoming season.
Yeah. And the other thing I think he did was he was a man of his word. When he first came here, he said, I want guys that love Giants football, that want to be here, that live, and Dexter Lawrence, arguably the best player on this team. Maybe him or Andrew Thomas, I think most people would say. He didn't want to be a Giant. He didn't love being a Giant. He said, okay, we'll move on from you and we'll fill your hole in other ways. So you're going to buy into Harbaugh's program or you're not going to be here. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think in the end, the Dexter thing is probably just a stalemate between him and Shane. I think if Shane had been removed, all right, and Harbaugh had his own GM, okay, and they decided to change out both the coach and the GM. I think there's a better chance Dexter would have been here. I think he couldn't see the silver lining in Harbaugh, and I wish he could have, because I think Harbaugh's a terrific coach. He's going to change the trajectory of his career, but he couldn't get past this petty money thing, which, frankly, the Giants probably should have taken care of business with Dexter, in all honesty. I think there's some reasons, and I don't really completely fault Dexter for being angry. I just wish he could have gotten past it, because I think that this Giants team has a bright future, and I don't know what the Bengals are going to be in the upcoming years, and have Joe Burrow, so they're probably going to be good no matter what. But, the fact of the matter is, I think the Giants organization is a lot better, and I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. That's all that really matters. And the thing that really hit home for me, which made me believe he did not want to be a Giant, was the extension he signed with the Bengals. I feel like the Giants would have given him that. So he didn't really get like this long
money, right?
Contract. It wasn't the money. I think he just wanted out of here. And I think a lot of it goes back to Shane, like you said.
Yeah.
All right. Before you guys jump in, go ahead. Yep. Yeah. Before you guys finish off on Knicks, just one more here. Entertainah, I consider you a nickname aficionado, an expert of sorts. Who has the better nickname, Boy Green or Manchild? You've learned us for about 31 minutes and 30 seconds. So I trust your expertise.
Before he can answer that question, doesn't he need to understand the origin of the two?
No, he does not. No, I want it just straight up.
Understand the origin of the
story.
Without knowing the origin, and I think they're both great nicknames.
Okay.
And I normally would side with my Giants guy, but I got to go with Boy Green because it ties into the team. You're a Jets fan, Gang Green. It ties into the team. Yeah,
and you know what? I'm almost in agreement with you, Entertainah, because number one, I'm the guy that gave him that nickname. Okay, so there you go.
Well, first of all, let me just take over.
You are, by all accounts, applauding me, because without me, he's not Boy Green. He's just Paul Esden Jr. the third. Paul A. Esden Jr. the third, whatever.
I'm not the third. My son's the third. I'm a second.
I'm just messing. So he'd just be that, and then he came and he was my intern. Okay. After being my student at SUNY Oswego, where I teach broadcasting. And then I used to give all the interns nicknames, and it was down to two nicknames, by the way. I was going to either name him Elroy for the Jetsons because he was a crazy Jet fan.
Okay.
I'm going to call him the son of the Jetsons, Elroy, or Boy Green. And Boy Green actually kind of picked up from the Howard Stern show when they used to call Baba Booey. What did they call him? Boy something. He had a nickname, Boy something. Oh, it's escaping me right now. But
Yeah, I know
Stern
you're
used to
talking
mess
about,
with
but
him, and he called him Boy something. And then that's what made me think of Boy Green, and that's how I landed on it. And then he didn't like it at first. He was all irritated by it. Now he's built this entire moniker around it.
that's
He's
true.
got his big Jets YouTube channel, and it's all blown up, and he's all original. All right, I won't go through the whole. I got my nickname in college. The good thing about our nicknames, I don't know about yours, Entertainah, but I can tell you our nicknames were both given to us by other people. We did not create them for ourselves, which, by the way, is mandatory with all nicknames. So I'm not going to ask you your origin story because I'm a little worried you're not going to say that. All right, and then the whole thing will be devalidated here. But you have to get a nickname from someone else. You don't give yourself a nickname. That never works. Never, ever. Got to. People give it to you, and then it sticks like glue, and you just decide I'm going to personify this, right? And
You're gonna hate me. I don't have near the story that you guys have. The whole reason why I started my YouTube channel was I had just broken up with my girlfriend. I was looking to do something to get my mind off of it, and I just was trying to make a YouTube channel. I had no idea that I was going to center it around only the New York Giants. As we discussed, I'm a New York sports fan, and the Giants thing kind of just clicked, and I just typed in the first name that came up to me. I just wanted to put a word that had New York flavor on it. And then it was later my audience shortened the nickname to Tana. So most people call me Tana now, but I don't have near the story that you guys have. I was just trying to create a channel.
So the fans have kind of
That's good. The fans picked it. Still comfortable.
The fans
It's
You validated it. You're okay now.
You're back.
You're back. Back in the good side. All right, quickly before we let you go, because I want to hold you up much longer, but we got to talk about the Knicks for a minute. You're a diehard Knicks fan. I used to be a season ticket holder. You mentioned that you were a season ticket holder as well for a brief time. So give me your thoughts, man. How crazy is it down in New York? Where are you originally from, by the way? Where are you from?
Long Island. Long Island.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up in Queens. So what's your hometown?
Plainedge. Went to the same high school as Valori, like we talked about.
Right,
I also lived in Brooklyn. But yeah, the majority of my life, Long Island.
Long Island. I'm a Queens guy. Okay. Anyway, what's it like? I mean, I'm not down there every day. All right, my son lives down there. My whole family lives down there, so I'm talking to them every day. But give me the pulse. This city, when the Knicks are good, this city starts to stand on its head, and it really it's a little bit overkill sometimes. I want to calm those people down. Say, relax. Haven't won anything yet. It's been how many years? 1973. Relax. But what's it like down there right now as the Knicks have obviously really, really turned a corner? 7 wins in a row. Looks like they're going to the NBA Finals. I know they still have another series, but the thought really is, oh, my God, we can do this thing again. Give me your thoughts. Is it crazy down there? What's it like?
I went to the watch party with my sister actually at the Garden Game 3 of the Sixers series, and it was awesome. Then for Game 4, I knew the series was already wrapped up. It was 3-0. It was Mother's Day. I ended up taking my mother to a play. I went to Wicked. After we get out of Wicked, the Knicks watch party had just ended. The Knicks, of course, swept the series. It took us a half hour to get from
the area,
get to the train because the crowd, you couldn't move. Like they flooded the whole streets. It was great to see. Like you said, I think when the Knicks are good, there is not a bigger team, at least in the city area of New York, the 5 boroughs. And then maybe if you go upstate, Long Island, it may be the Mets or Yankees. But when it comes to the city, there is not a bigger unifier than the New York Knicks. When the Knicks are good, New York City is happy. And it's good to see. It's good to see that the Knicks are back. I'm born in 85. The first team I fell in love with were the early 90s Knicks. That was the first team that made me a diehard sports fan. Growing up watching Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, it brings back great memories of my childhood, and it's great to see that the Knicks are back at that point and hopefully can exceed what that team was able to do. I think this team has more talent than that team did. Ewing never had the second weapon. Jalen Brunson certainly does. So we'll see. We know that OKC is going to be a tough hill to climb, but we got to get there first, whether it be Detroit or Cleveland.
If Brunson brings them a championship, if he leads them to a championship, is he the all-time #1 New York Knick in your mind? Was it
recency bias would say yes. I mean, we haven't won since 1973, but it's hard. It's hard to put him above Frazier, who's won 2, and Ewing, being that he was a homegrown Knick and played here for a lot longer than Brunson has up to this point.
Yep.
I think he's already 3, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Maybe 4, but he's definitely in the top 5 for sure. If he wins, recency bias would say yes, and I'd be completely open to building him a statue. if the Knicks win a championship. Yeah,
Son of a player. I mean, it's just a nice story. Father's on the bench. And he's just such a nice, humble guy. He really seems like a good dude. And actually has roots right here in Central New York. His dad and grew up here, and Jalen was up here for a while. So yeah, he's right in the Syracuse
Rick
area.
was on those '90s teams. He never played, but he was on the '90s teams. Yeah,
I remember him. Not like the son though. That son can play basketball.
Yeah, that's true.
Jalen Brunson is a phenomenon. Entertainah. Very entertaining. Thank you so much for joining us. It was awesome to have you. Everybody get out there, check out the Giants Collective and the Entertainah Talking Sports on YouTube. Want to plug anything on your way out? Go ahead.
Not much to plug. We plugged it. You could check me out on Giants Collective. Occasionally, I'll still do stuff on the Entertainah Talking Sports. I do Giants live streams, play-by-play during the year. If you guys want to check that out, that's always a lot of fun. But yeah, just appreciate coming on here with you guys. We didn't get to talk any Jets, but maybe next time. But thank you guys for having me on.
Maybe we'll think about it, Boy Green.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Because we're okay with the Jets. We're okay.
I'm glad that we established that at the beginning. That's good to know. Yeah.
All right, there he is, the Entertainah from the Giants Collective. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys.